if you are starting or trying to scale your marketing agency, listen, I have bad news because 97% of you are going to fail in your first year. But after helping dozens of you inside my free school group, link down below, and running my own agency to over $50,000 a month, here are the 5 biggest mistakes that I have learned and I see every other agency owner make, including myself. So if you stick with me until the end, I'm going to show you how to build a predictable, profitable agency that actually scales past $10,000 a month, even if you're a complete beginner. And mistake number 3 almost cost me my whole agency and actually cost me $50,000. So let's dive in. Mistake number 1 is to be working in the business instead of on it. Now, it sounds simple, and yes, you've maybe heard it before, but what does that actually look like? Because most agency founders, all they do is they become the highest paid employee instead of the CEO. And they spend 80% of their time doing client work and only 20% of the time building the business. And in fact, I get on a group call and all of the agency owners that are trying to build their business, some of them are consultants, some of them are agency owners, some of them are AI automation specialists trying to sell their services. The number one thing I hear from them is, I've got my first client, I'm going to stop lead generation and stop building the business and do client work. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the biggest mistake that I see. So if that's you, stop it. So this is what it looks like, right? You are personally writing all the copy, running all the ads, or managing all the campaigns. You're responding to every client email, Slack message, and you're the bottleneck for every decision and deliverable. Sound familiar? And you have no time to actually acquire new clients or build systems. So you end up working 60, 70 hours a week just to maintain current revenue. You never grow, and you've just given yourself a very, very painful, expensive job. So just like this meme here. Why you need to change this is because your income will always be capped by your personal hours. We don't have more than 24 hours in a day, and I can't survive on less than 6 hours of sleep. I don't know about you. You can't scale past 5 to 10 clients and you burn out within 6 to 12 months, and that's why you fail. And the business just will never run without you, and it will have zero enterprise value. So if you think that you're going to have an exit, or you think that you're going to make money once you stop working, you are having a laugh. So I have broken this down into 4 different phases. If you are just getting started, yes, you should be doing everything to learn the systems. If you are past $10,000 a month, you should be hiring VAs for repetitive tasks and paying them about $6 to $9 an hour. And this is usually between $10 and $30,000. Now, you can also look at hiring a VA if you are confident that they're going to add value and you have some systems that they can come in and they can start using. If you just have a VA coming in and you just give them random tasks, you will suffer and it will be very expensive. Phase 3 is from the 30 to 50K a month area where you go and you hire specialists for client fulfillment and you actually pay them a really good wage or salary with some bonuses. By this point, you need to be a good leader because many of the good people are not interested in just making more money. They're interested in working on something that's exciting and working for a founder who has a vision and they want to buy into your vision. And so there's a little bit of nuance that's involved here and lots of mistakes that I made. And then phase 4 is where we all kind of want to be, right? But you have to go and pay the price first and go through the suck. And this is where you do just high-level strategy and focus on client acquisition. Now, I was on a group call in my paid school group the other day, and everybody wants to skip to here. And they want to automate and outsource. And I'm like, you need to go through the suck in the very beginning to understand how everything works and all the little nuances so that you can QA and you can hire out and you can SOP the living heck out of it, right? And so look, I'm not going to plug it too much, but if you want to join, this is where we do that. And all of the SOPs that I've used to build my business are in here. We have weekly calls that you can be a part of, and you can have one-on-one access to me and priority DM support. Go and check out the About section and read all of this kind of stuff. Now, what I would suggest, the action steps for you if you're at any of these stages, document every process that you do repeatedly. So create SOPs, track your actual time, right? Identify the $10 an hour tasks versus the $1,000 an hour tasks, and hire for the $10 an hour tasks first. So admin, reporting, basic execution, and then reallocate now your freed up time to sales and marketing, the $1,000 an hour activities, and then build systems that allow the business to run without you. So I'm currently in the process of tracking my time. So for example, this is what it looks like, and then I'm tracking my time accordingly, and I'll type in, you know, something like this, and then I'll choose personal, and then how much energy is it costing me, and then based on the monthly income that you input, it'll give you your buyback rate, and then it'll show you where all your hours are leaking. Like, you don't need to do any of this. This is all calculated. Like, all of the crazy things that I've got in this spreadsheet is pretty spectacular. So look, this is only available inside of the free school group here. I'll make sure I leave that link down below as well. There are 5,000 other people in this group who are all winning together and learning and consuming content that's exclusively available in the classroom. So if you're not in here, what on earth are you doing? But I'm going to be making a video about time tracking. So if you're excited about that, like and subscribe and like this video. And as Alex Hormozi says, your job as CEO is to work yourself out of every job except CEO. Wise words from the bearded man himself. Now, mistake number 2 is a big one that I see, and it's something that I battled with in the beginning as well, is this idea of spray and pray pricing strategy. So no productized service, no sort of menu to pick from, right? And so agencies charge whatever they think they can get away with, and they have no clear pricing structure, and then you end up competing on price, ironically, instead of value, right? So I see this all the time, and I remember getting on calls with somebody and they're like, oh, they're making $100,000 a month. I'm going to charge them $6,000 instead of my usual $3,000 when I was getting started, because they can, quote, afford it. And I see this on a lot of the new agency owners that I'm sort of coaching through inside the Ship It Society, where you get greedy, right? And so, you know who you are if you're watching this video, but you get greedy and you start charging more and more because you think that the person that you're speaking to can afford it. It shouldn't be like that. What ends up happening is that you end up charging $500, $1,500 a month for services that are kind of like worth $10,000 a month, and saying yes to every client regardless of their fit. You start lowering your prices when prospects push back. You start hiring your prices when prospects seem affluent and they seem like a good fit, right? And then there are no clear deliverables or guaranteed outcomes, and it's a race to the bottom against competitors because all you're competing against on is price. Ridiculous. So you attract nightmare clients who don't value your work, and your margins become too thin to hire quality team members, and you start outsourcing everything for $4 an hour to the Philippines, and then client delivery goes down the chute. And you need, think about it, you need 50 clients to hit 50K a month, which is an impossible task to manage, even with all the automations in the world. And then clients churn because they don't see an ROI, and you're stuck in a cycle of constantly replacing lost revenue. So the solution is really simple. It's to have value-based pricing with guarantees. So step number 1 is to calculate the value that you create. So if you generate $50,000 a month in additional revenue for a client, you can easily charge them $5,000 to $10,000 a month. Or as a rule of thumb, 10 to 20% of the value that you create. If you don't add any value, then you need to maybe take a good hard look at yourself in the mirror and go, what on earth am I doing? Are you providing a commoditized service? How can you, and I'm going to talk about this in just a second, how can you increase the perceived likelihood of achieving the dream outcome? How can you communicate the dream outcome better? How can you reduce the time delay? And how can you reduce the effort and sacrifice? That is how you communicate value. And remember, if the value is not communicated and it's not perceived, it doesn't exist. So you need to communicate it. Number 2 is to create a Grand Slam offer. So with a specific outcome, for example, 20 qualified leads, give it a time within 60 days and a risk reversal, or you don't pay or you get a full refund, and then have a way to increase the perceived likelihood of achievement, which you do through multiple ways. One of the best and easiest ways is case studies, showing that you've done this before. And so one of the very first things that I do when I sign a client is that I go through their black book and I help them pull out these case studies. So these are case studies that I have recorded myself with current and previous clients. And if you watch these, this is the story of Adrian going through and understanding that now he has leverage to go after investment, and they have this pipeline full of leads, and they closed 3 deals in the first 60 days of working with us, and it's revolutionized his business. His words, not mine. When people watch something like this, they don't question whether it's created by ChatGPT or not. They see somebody just like them who's had a result that they want, who was full of all the same fears and objections that they currently have, that overcame those objections and worked with you, and then they connect the dots and they're like, I guess I've got nothing to lose. That person had the same problems as me, and now they have the outcome that I want. Let me take action. It helps a lot. And then number 3 is to have price based on outcome, not on hours. Do not charge per hour, or you will get demolished. So what you don't want to be doing is $3,000 a month for, quote, social media management, SMMA. But you want to be saying something like $5,000 a month to generate 30 qualified leads with a 90-day money-back guarantee. Okay? And so here is a real example from my business. So I used to offer marketing services for $2,000 a month, right? But I got poor clients, like weak clients, and also broke clients, lots of churn, and then low margins because I can't do everything myself, right? And if they're only paying me $2,000 a month, where is the margin? The cost of acquiring a customer is sometimes higher than the $2,000, so it's very difficult to make this whole work. And then I go from that to installing a pipeline in the next 90 days that guarantees that we will produce $100,000 in qualified pipeline that cuts no-shows by 30%, or we work for free until we hit it. And so this, if you look, is actually the thing that is on my page that I talk about. I go through the unique mechanism and all these other things, but I go, Dopamine Digital will build an AI growth engine for you, guaranteed to add $100,000 in pipeline in just 90 days, or you don't pay. Okay, and so for service-based businesses, this is a game changer, because most of the time you are competent enough that if you get in front of the right types of people on a daily basis, you can turn them into tens of thousands of dollars of revenue. And so obviously this is outcome-based, and I'm able to charge almost 10 times more. And so the result is I close people quicker, I close more people, I close better clients, higher retention because they pay up front, and then they get better results because I'm able to outsource some of the work to and build the better systems, and I have higher margins and I make more money. So it's an absolute no-brainer. If you're still charging $1,000 a month for some commoditized garbage, nobody cares. Put it in the trash and do it again. So how do you actually create value? First of all, you can't just create it. You need to get your prospect to perceive it. That is really important. So the Hormozi value equation is dream outcome times perceived likelihood of achievement divided by time delay times effort and sacrifice. So everything above this line, we want to increase, and everything below this line, we want to decrease. And if you've seen my hour and 20-minute long video where I break down exactly how to put an offer together, I'll try and leave it linked in the card up here. You will note that this is maybe the most important part of your whole business, is creating a compelling offer. And most people just skip over this. They don't even look at it. They just go, we sell this service and this is the price. And then you pummel it down people's throats, but they don't care. So try and make the outcome bigger and more specific. Try to add guarantees and proof, case studies, and try to deliver results faster, because time is a massive component of value. and make it easier for the client. So what sorts of things can you remove as far as friction? Can you go from a done with you or do-it-yourself model to a done for you model, which is always going to be more valuable and you can charge higher prices. Now, mistake number 3. This is the big one that cost me a lot of money in the beginning. Trying to serve everybody. Okay, I understand why you want to serve everybody. You want to take everybody's money because it's difficult to say no when somebody comes and they're like, hey, can I pay you to do the thing? But if you say we help all businesses with their marketing needs, you don't actually say that, but that's what you communicate. It's a death sentence because you become a commodity with no differentiation. So what this looks like is if your website says we help businesses grow, or you take on e-commerce, SaaS, local business, and B2B all at once, or your case studies are scattered across so many different industries, your messaging becomes generic and you could apply to anybody, right? And so what that means is you cannot charge premium prices because you are not a specialist. And if you niche down and you become a specialist, what you think is that you're going to be limiting yourself, but actually you can charge higher prices. People are drawn to you that have the problem because everyone else is being generic. So what is the solution? Well, it's to pick a specific ICP. So as an example, my ICP is B2B service-based businesses. So if you're a consultant, an agency, or a coach, I work with you if you make over $20,000 a month and you have a done for you or a done with you high ticket service, which has a direct ROI on the businesses or the people that you help. So if you come in and you set up HR systems that have no direct impact on the business, and it's all just fluff or it's all like greenwashing garbage, I'm not interested. And you need to be charging between $3,000 and $15,000 per engagement. You need to have proven demand, a validated offer, and be ready to scale. If you don't have all of these things, I will not work with you. And so, like, if that's you, if you are listening to this and this is you, apply to work with me. Like, go to dopaminedigital.io, read the case studies, watch this video, click this button. It will take you to a form which will take you 2.5 minutes to fill out, where I will audit your business. I will go through all your funnels. I will look at all your competition, and I'll put together a growth plan for you over 12 months, delivered into your inbox within 72 hours with a free Loom video breaking down exactly what all the context means, and I will do this without getting on a sales call with you. Now, obviously, if you want to get on a sales call and you are impressed by what I say and you want to work together, we can talk about that, but this is completely for free. And it usually will cost you, like I did this the other day and it cost the guy $450. So why would you pay that where you can get it done here for free? And like I should be charging $1,000. I have charged up to $500 in the past. Go and click this button, get your free growth plan. I'll leave it linked down below. But if you're not doing that, what are you doing? And like I actually do it. It's not AI slop. I can only do a handful of these a week. So go apply. If you qualify, I will send you this within 72 hours. So Hormozi says, how do we define our ICP? Well, here we can do it in 5 minutes. Step number 1 is to answer these 5 questions. Who have you already gotten results for? Not who you want to work with, but who have you already gotten results for? Which of these clients paid the most and complained the least? And what specific problem did you solve for them? And can they afford premium pricing? Is there enough of them to build a business? Step number 2, fill in this template. I help specific business type who, current situation or revenue, achieve specific outcome through your method. For example, I help B2B consultants doing $20,000 a month who want to hit $100,000 a month through AI-powered client acquisition systems. And then step number 3, you validate the ICP with the Hormozi starving crowd test. So your ICP must have a massive pain or a bleeding neck, he calls it, a problem that keeps them up at night. They must have purchasing power so they can actually pay you, because we're not running a charity. They must be easy to target, so you must have access to a list or a way that you can target them, whether through cold outreach, warm outreach, content, or paid ads. And you need to be in a growing market, not in a dying industry. We don't want to be selling newspapers. And if your ICP fails any of those, start again and let's go through the exercise once more. Now, if you are one of these people who say things like, but I'm limiting my market, I'm leaving money on the table, you are wrong. You're just unequivocally wrong. Full stop, end of story. You're actually expanding it, because when you are specific, you become the obvious choice in the market. A cardiologist makes way more than a general practitioner. Why? Because he is a specialist with the heart. I don't want to go and get my GP to operate on my heart. I want somebody that's been doing it for 20 years who lives and breathes heart surgery. And your prospects want the same thing. So what are we doing? Now, mistake number 4 is a big one. Selling outputs instead of outcomes. And make sure you stick around until the last one, because I think it's the most powerful. But this is really important as well. Agencies will sell deliverables. They'll sell social media posts, email campaigns, or ad management instead of actual business results that people care about. And so if you are communicating things like, we'll post 5 times per week on Instagram, we'll send 3 email campaigns per month, we'll manage your Facebook ads, we'll design your website, clients ask themselves, what am I paying for? They start listing your activities, and then they start going out and they shop around and they compare you based on price. Because it's very easy to compare somebody based on price when most people are talking in terms of deliverables. So clients stop seeing the connection between your work and actually driving revenue, and you're not anymore seen as you're seen as a cost center, not a profit center, right? Which is the nail in the coffin. And so you become easy to replace, especially with AI tools. As a quick side note, if you've been using Claude Code in the last couple of weeks, it will blow your friggin' mind what you can do and what you can automate now as far as business processes are concerned. And best believe I am plugging them in to my clients' businesses. AI content engines, AI auto DM systems, AI reply agents that reply in 30 seconds, short form content. The things that you can do are outrageous. And now you are likely going to be replaced. And so if you're a commodity that sells a service, if you're a commodity that sells if you sell deliverables instead of outcomes, you will get crushed. So what we want to be doing is selling, instead of output, we want to be selling outcomes. So instead of saying we will create 20 social media posts per month, we need to be saying we will create 30 qualified leads per month from your social media, guaranteed. So stop talking about, think about it like this. Stop talking about what you do and start talking about what they get. It's a subtle shift, but it's huge in your messaging. And so what you can do is you can put a guarantee around the outcome to turn all this up to 11 and put it on steroids. So you need to have a quantifiable result. So for example, 20 qualified sales appointments. It needs to be within a specific time frame, so per month or within 60 days, and there needs to be a risk reversal, or you don't pay, or money back guarantee, or Hormozy says club a baby seal guarantee. If you wouldn't club a baby seal after 30 days of working with us, get all your money back, right? It creates this visceral visual image. And then create proof. So here's how we did it for insert similar client. The guaranteed outcome offer framework is fantastic at getting people over the line. If you are nobody with no clients, no case studies, but you create a crazy irresistible offer with a fantastic risk-free guarantee, you will close your first client. Guaranteed. Or your money back. So as an example, this is what a bad output-based offer looks like inside of email marketing. So we sell you email marketing services, $3K a month. Or you can say, I guarantee $30K in additional revenue from email in 60 days or get a full refund. With cold outreach, cold email campaign management and setup, whatever, Or you can say 10 to 30 qualified sales meetings per month. You only pay for meetings that show up. And so you are driving business growth. The mechanism in which you use just happens to be cold email. But that is not the thing that you are selling. You are selling the outcome. So I hope this is making sense. And then content creation and management is not what you're selling. You're selling 1 million views in 90 days or get a full refund, right? So why this works is because clients immediately understand the value. You are positioned as a revenue generator, not a cost. The ROI is very easy to understand because I can see it. You can charge premium prices because you have guaranteed outcomes, and referrals are easier. They guaranteed results and delivered. And I actually got on a call with a client, and the reason he decided to join was because I had a guarantee. And I guaranteed the outcome. After he'd been burned by 2 agencies, he is now flooded with qualified leads. So your prospect feels the same. Now, finally, and maybe the most important, is that mistake number 5 is that most agencies rely on referrals, networking events, and word of mouth. Or even more painfully, what they rely on is the founder themselves going into LinkedIn and trying to throw stuff against the wall to see what sticks. And man, it is tiring. Every day you wake up and you don't know where your next customer is going to come from. Some months you sign 5 clients, other months you sign 0. You're constantly stressed about where the next dollar and the next client is going to come from. In the back of your mind, you're thinking, if this person churns, everything falls apart. And you spend all your time on client work and then scramble for new business, and then back to client work and then scramble for new business. And you feel as though you've tried everything, but nothing works consistently, and you're at the mercy of your existing clients referring you, which is a terrible place to be. So revenue becomes like this unpredictable feast or famine. You can't plan hiring, expenses, growth. Like the other day, I was sold something for 8K and then something for 5K. And if I didn't have predictable revenue and control over my destiny, I wouldn't be able to plan that in my finances, because I'm like, I don't know where the next money is going to come from next month. It's a very painful place to be. And all you are is one bad month away from massive panic. If you don't control your destiny, you don't control the lead flow, you don't have a business. And banks won't lend to you, and investors will not fund you without some sort of predictable lead generation system. And here's the sad truth, guys. This is the biggest mistake that I see, not figuring this out. Because 69.6% of agencies say that client acquisition is their number one challenge. According to 2024 State of Digital Agencies report, new business and client acquisition is the biggest challenge agencies face. It's not delivery, it's not hiring, it's not operations, it's getting clients. So if this is you, then you have a big problem and you don't have a business and you are weeks away from bankruptcy, likely. And if you can provide this solution to other people, you are winning. Now, the solution is simple. It is the core 4. Every day, for the first 4 hours of every day, pick one of the core 4 and do that for 100 days. That is how you win. You are 100 days away from a $10,000 a month business. All you need to do is pick one, just one of the core 4. And if you don't know what the core 4 is, it's from Hormozi's $100 Million Leads book, where he talks about if you are under $1 million a year, you are currently struggling with irrelevance. No one knows who you are. That's why you don't have revenue coming in. If you had more leads, you'd have more revenue. You could hire, build better systems, deliver better, focus on other things. You could do all of these things. But if you are not focused on acquiring customers in the first 4 hours of your day, you are an idiot. It needs to be the thing that you do at least until $50,000 a month. At least, if not to $100,000 a month. And so there are only 4 ways to let people know that you exist. Either it's warm outreach, so reaching out to your existing network and saying, hey, do you know somebody that might like the service or product. And then cold outreach, scraping lists and putting together lead lists and campaigns and outreaching to those people and saying, hey, here is a lead magnet. And I've done so much content about cold outreach because it's our bread and butter at Dopamine Digital. And then posting free content, which is what I'm doing right now, right? And so I'm trying to add as much value as I possibly can to my ICP to overwhelm you with so much value that you're like, man, this is the guy I want to work with. He knows his stuff. Can I just pay you to do this for me? I don't have the time. Can you do it? And then you can also run paid ads. And so either do 100 warm outreaches a day, 100 cold outreaches a day, 100 minutes of free content, or 100 minutes of paid ads. So at least you should be doing 100 minutes. You should be doing, ideally, the rule of 100, which is one of those and then 100 minutes per day for 100 days. Now, I actually have posted this video here where I posted one YouTube video every day for 100 days, and it changed my business and changed my life. And it was because of Alex Hormozi. So I picked free content, and every day, every single day, without fail, I posted a long-form video on YouTube that took me significantly longer than 100 minutes. And you will see, if you watch this video, that it revolutionized my business and brought me hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you are just 100 days away from something similar. Now, so my recommendation from 0 to 100K a month, phase 1 is like this. And I had this conversation with a client yesterday, and they're like, what do we do? This is for you. Send 500 cold emails per day using Instantly. Send 10 to 20 cold DMs per day using LinkedIn. Use Apollo or similar for lead data. You can use Crunchbase, you can use LinkedIn Sales Nav, you can use Appify, Expandy, whatever. Offer free work or performance-based to get case studies first. It shouldn't take you longer than 90 days to get to 20K per month if you're doing the right things and you are spending the first 4 hours of your day focused on client acquisition. Phase 2 is you start introducing content. Posting at least one YouTube video per week. Posting daily on LinkedIn and Twitter. Creating lead magnets, so free audits, checklists, templates, and then filtering out, putting them out across all of the pieces of content that you do, and then bringing in leads, and then engaging those leads. Continue cold outreach, but at a lower volume. And whilst you do this, everything supports each other. And so it should be only 6 months until you hit 50K per month. Phase 3 is where you start introducing paid ads. What you don't want to be doing is introducing paid ads before you've validated that your market cares about your offer at all, before you know what you're doing, before you have revenue that's stable and predictable, and before you have some kind of structure and SOPs. Because the cost to acquire a customer, especially if you're a service-based business that's selling something $3,000 to $15,000, will probably be $3,000 to $4,000. And so it is unbelievably painful to look into your ads manager and see that you've spent $4,000 and haven't got a single sale. Now, the cost per lead, the cost per call will be around $200. And so like you need cash flow. Otherwise, this will cripple you. Start retargeting website visitors and start having a self-liquidating offer funnel. So some kind of low-ticket product that has a high-ticket upsell. Content and cold outreach are now on autopilot, and you can focus all your attention on getting as much of the juice out of the Andromeda update on Facebook and Meta as possible, which is always going to be more completely unique angles, completely unique styles of content. It is a massive shift that's happened in the last couple of months. Again, I've made a video on that. Check it out on my channel. And it should only take you 12 months to hit 100K a month. So listen, guys, if you want our help, me and my team, to come in and save you all this pain, go to dopaminedigital.io, watch this video where I talk about the process and why you can't seem to scale, and then watch some of the case studies. Look at some of the AI stuff that we plug into your business and ask yourself, how many hours a week are you spending on doing these silly little tasks, and how much extra would you make if you had hundreds of leads coming in every single day into your business. And if it's worked for all these people, why couldn't it possibly work for you? And you don't even need to commit. You just need to opt in to my lead magnet, which is a free growth plan. I will personally audit your entire business, your funnels, create a Loom video and a 12-month growth plan and deliver it into your inbox within 72 hours without getting on a sales call. And if you want to invest in us and you want us to implement the system for you, then the price is very, very low compared to the value that we provide. And we even guarantee the results of $100,000 of pipeline in the first 90 days, or we work for free. So it is an absolute no-brainer. If you have enjoyed watching this video, make sure that you leave it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.